Thank you for joining us for Done on Linux, where we will discuss and show the many things that you can do on Linux today. Okay, so thanks for joining us today. Today what we're going to look at is Zim. It titles itself as a Desktop Wiki. Basically what Zim is to me is my Evernote replacement. So I've used Evernote for quite a few years, and unfortunately Evernote does not have a native Linux client. So my only option is to use Evernote for web. So using the web interface. And that worked out well for a time, but the drawbacks are that it's slow. I can't just quickly open up a window and start taking notes. I have to wait for it to load, possibly log in, then wait for it to load my document. The biggest problem though that I've had with it most recently is that I'm losing data. So I can be in the middle of creating a new note. Most recently I had a meeting and I had to take notes for that. And I had some action items in that meeting that were assigned to me, and I made a note of those in Evernote for web. And I switched away for a moment, switched back, reopened the note, and the note was blank. So basically what happened was it never saved my data back to the Evernote servers. So that was kind of the last straw. I know that Evernote has been promising that they will be coming out with a Linux client soon, a native Linux client. However, they recently released a Windows and a Mac version. Well, they've always had those. They've released a new Windows and Mac version recently. And I use the Windows version on my work virtual machine that runs Windows 10. And I was not impressed with the new update. It still doesn't resolve some issues that I've had with performance on it. And so I made the decision, I need to find something else. I need to find a replacement for Evernote. One of the things that replacement had to provide was a native Linux client. I discovered Zim a while ago, but I must not have really understood it or tried it out properly, but I tried it out again this time and I love it. It's everything I need for taking notes, keeping track of things. I can manage my tasks in it. I can synchronize the data between multiple machines. The one thing it does not have, though, is a native client for Android and iOS. So if that is very important to you, then this may not be the tool for you. However, it does save its data in standard text files, which of course can be read by any text editor, edited as well by any text editor. Any file attachments or images that you put in there are saved as images on the file system. So there's easy access to the data. It's not being locked into any proprietary format like it would be with Evernote. You still have easy access to it in just plain text files. However, you still get the advantage of using rich text like bold, italic, highlighting text, and whatnot. It's all there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take a look at how we can get this installed on our Linux desktop. Visit zim-wiki.org. Click on download, and then we'll get some instructions on how to get it installed on our system. Since we're running an Ubuntu operating system, we'll come down to the instructions under Ubuntu, and you can download the official deb package here to install, or you can choose to use a PPA so that it'll get updated over time as well. And this is the option that I chose. So I clicked on this link in order to get the information for the PPA to set that up on my system. And it's really easy. They give you the instructions here on how to do it. We're going to go ahead and just follow those right now. We're going to go ahead and just copy this. And then we need to bring up our terminal. We will paste it in there. Hit enter. Enter our password. And then wait for it to process. Press enter again. Okay, once it's done updating the package list, Then we can do our sudo apt update. Tell our system to take a look at that and see what else is available. And do sudo apt install Zim. And there it goes. That's what we want. We hit enter. And we'll let it download and install the Zim Desktop Wiki on our system. Okay, once it's done installing, click on our whisker menu. You can just search for it. Type in Zim, and there it is, Zim Desktop Wiki. We click on that. And the first thing it wants to do is ask us for our folder for where we want to put our notebook. It defaults to your home folder, the folder called Notebooks, and then Notes. We're going to go ahead and just accept that default for this. And we're in. Now we have our Zim Desktop Wiki installed and ready for us to use. Minimize the other windows there. And this is basically it. I mean, you could just start typing whatever you want, taking notes, whatnot, and it'll automatically save it on your system. Now we can take a look at that too, just to show you where those are saved. We'll open up our file manager. And remember, it was going to be in our home directory. I'm going to turn off hidden files to clear that up a little bit. So we're in our home directory, and it said notebooks, and there's the notebooks folder it made, and there's the notes, Zim Desktop. And the first document you'll see in there is a home.txt file, which corresponds to this here. If I were to open this up with mousepad, typing whatever you want, typing whatever you want. There it is. It's the same. It's just a text file. It's got your data in there. So you can organize this however you would like to have it organized. You can create a new page, file new page, and let's say I want to have something to keep track of. Here's typical recipes. Let's see, we've got recipes. So now I've got a folder called recipes. Now you could put, some recipes in here, but after a while, if you have a lot of recipes, it's going to get kind of unmanageable. You're going to have a lot of recipes on this one page here. Kind of messy, and if you want to print out just one, that'd be a little harder. So what you want to do is think ahead and just organize them differently. So under recipes, I might create a sub page, and this might be my recipe for tuna casserole. Okay, and so in here now I can have the recipe just for this tuna casserole. I can again right click on that and create a new page. Yeah, I've got this great hamburger recipe. I want that in there. And I've got this other recipe, this great salad that I make that's just delicious. You can put all this, so you get the idea. You can of course take it a step further. Maybe you want to organize it even more. Maybe you want a separate section for all your salads, okay? And if you had a salad here, you could drag it down onto there, and now it's underneath salads. So you've got salads, you can have all different kinds of salads under there. Wrap, salad, whatever. I'm not a chef, okay? These are just examples of how you can organize this, okay? Main meals, whatever. But you can drag and drop existing documents that you've already created into different folders. And a folder here is really just, it's a sub document. So, I mean, you don't have to say create a folder, you just create a sub page underneath an existing page, and it makes this become a folder, as it were, on top. So this can make this your title page if you want. My great recipes. Maybe you want to make that, give it a header value there. I just pressed on that to make it do that. I just did Control 2. Basically, this is header value 1 up here, Control 1. This is Control 2. I want to have a subheader. I can do that. Control 3. Another subheader. Control 4, and so on. Now, the reason you might want to do that is there's some plugins you can add. One of the plugins is called, well, let me get to it. Preferences, plugins. And it's your table of contents. You see this popped up over here on the upper right side of this page now. Hit OK. Now I've got this little table of contents table of contents here where I can jump to different sections in this particular document. So that'd be handy, especially if you have a document that's longer than this, of course, where you need to jump down to a certain section that's many pages down. You can just jump right to it if you have this little table of contents plugin set up. Another plugin that I like to use is for tasks. So if I want to insert a checkbox, and maybe I need to buy more hamburger and buy dressing. Okay, so I got two little checkboxes there. But if I now go, of course, you're going to forget about that. If you move to a different page, you're not going to remember that that's over on the hamburger page, unless you have the plugin for task list checked. Hit OK. You'll see this icon appeared here for task list. Now, when I click on that, what it's going to go do is it's going to go through all of my existing documents and look for any checkboxes that are not checked, and it'll include them in its task list. And there we are. Just clicked on that, buy more hamburger, and when you click on it, it takes you to that page and to that task. Okay, you can also have due dates. If you want a due date for this task, you put in the less than symbol there. 2021, the year, you start with the year, and then the month that it's due. Let's say it's March, and the 25th of March is when I want that one due. Now when I click again on this, it says it's due in 4 weeks right there. And there's the due date over here in this column. Now, if this is really important or urgent, I can add some emphasis by hitting 1, 2, or 3 exclamation points. I'm going to hit 3. And then when you bring this back up again, even though it's due in 4 weeks, it's also highlighted in red because it's a critical task for you. The other thing that you can do is you can add a category to it. Maybe this is for my cooking class. So I want to remember this. We'll just call it cooking. Now when I bring it up, I've got a category over here called cooking. And I click on it and I'll see only the tasks that have the @cooking symbol next to them. So there's a way that you can organize your tasks in Zim Wiki. It's pretty handy. So another plugin that I like to use is the spell checker. So edit, preferences, plugins, scroll down to spell checker. And then you'll notice on the right, though, since this is the first time I installed this, I'm getting this error here. These dependencies have failed. I know I only need one of these. So this is the one. I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to hit OK. I'm just copying the name of it. Then we're going to go to our Synaptic Package Manager. My password. And then we're going to do a search for that and see what we can find. Search. And the first thing I see is this Python 3 GTK spell check. Python 3 spell checking library for GTK Plus based on something. Looks like I've got more information down here. Pretty sure this is the one I want. If it wasn't, I can just uninstall it. So we're just going to go ahead and say mark for installation. Hit OK, and we'll apply, and we'll let that install. And once that's done installing, we'll go ahead and we'll return to the Zim Wiki application, and we'll take a look and see if that dependency now has been resolved. Scroll down, select spell check again. It still says failed. What I'm going to try now is closing the Zim Wiki, because maybe we need to close it. And we'll go ahead and open it back up. Go back to our edit preferences, plugins, all the way down, spell check. And now we're getting an OK. GTK spell check is OK. And I've got it selected. I'll hit OK on this dialog box. Now, if I do spell something wrong, it's not going to do anything, you'll notice. What you need to do is press F7 to activate it. So when I press F7, you'll now notice this is underlined in red, meaning, hey, what's this word? We're spell checking, and we can right click on it and we can get suggestions. In this case, it's saying dressing space DD. Is that what you wanted? Well, no, in this case, I just wanted dressing. We'll just select that. There we go. spell checking all fixed up. And the nice thing is if you're typing a lot and you have a lot of words that maybe aren't common in the dictionary that are going to get tagged as spelling errors, while you're typing, you can just turn off the spell checker by hitting F7. Just toggle it off and on. F7 is your key for toggling the spell checker off and on. So if I turn it off, there's no check. Turn it on, it's checking this word. And that's it. So there's your spell checker. Another important feature that I enjoy with this application is the searchability. It's really fast, and you always need a search, especially as this, I call it my database, as it grows and gets bigger with more and more documents. You're going to need to search for things to get back to where you were, to find what you wrote down last month, or some other tip or something, some notes you took that you need to find out information on. So we'll just stick with our hamburger here. Hit enter, and there it is. And it gives us a little score too of how likely that is on the search to be what you're looking for. It tells me that it's on the page recipes hamburger. Of course, when I click on it, it takes me right to that page and highlights the word for me. And that's our search. Now that word's going to stay highlighted everywhere in this document until on the very bottom here of this page, I click on this little X to close it, and then that search highlight goes away. So searching is really powerful, and it works very well and fast, so that's good. We need that. Okay, and so now that we've kind of done a little demo of this, we've created a few pages here. I'm going to go back to the home folder again and just take another look at the notebooks folder that it created and the notes folder, and then you'll see where we've got recipes page, the home page, the recipes folder, where it's got hamburger, main meal, the salads. We open up salads and there's those two salads. So it's really simple how it's all organized in your file system via files and folders. Oh, there's one other thing I need to show you that goes along with this organization here of the files and folders. You notice we pasted in this picture here, this image. Now if we go to Tools, Open Attachments folder, it's going to open the attachments folder just for the document that we're looking at, and you'll see there's our pasted image. If we double click on that, it opens in our image viewer, and yeah, it's just the image that we pasted in. It handles file attachments that same way. So again, they're just on your file system, no hidden magic, they're not in any encrypted weird database. Of course, you can encrypt your drive or folder and have your data encrypted, but these are just standard files and folders that it's saving for you. If we were to go in and let's pick a file attachment option here, I'm going to go down, let's see what files, pick something from downloads. Okay, I've got a zip file here, Commander Keen, hit open, and there it is. Now, if I now click on that, it's going to open that just like a file on the file system in my decompression tool, because it's a zip file in this case, and I can act on it, I can extract it or whatnot. If I come again up to this tools and say open attachments folder for this document only, remember it's the document you're on, and there's my zip file is in that folder. You can see it's under my home, Dan, notebooks, notes, recipes, hamburger. It doesn't make sense where I put it, but anyway, you get the idea. It's going into the folder structure there, and you can have access to those files on your file system as well. So I really like that because I don't have to worry about my data being stuck in some proprietary database and I have to do some magical, long-winded export routine to get it out someday. In this case, it's just sitting all on your file system in text files, file attachments, image files. Real simple. One other thing we need to show that you can do with this in that as well is that you can go ahead and export this. Say I want to export, I'm going to say create a complete notebook. Forward, I'm going to say choose HTML as my format. These are the other options here. But I'm going to choose HTML, leave it as default template, and we'll hit forward again. Export each page to a separate file. Yeah, I like that. And output folder. Well, let's see, where do I want to put this? I'm going to put it in my downloads folder. We'll make it a special one called HTML. And the index page, it's just asking what we want it to be named. Index.html is common. Hit OK, export completed, hit OK again. Now, I told it I wanted to put it in my downloads folder, so I'm going to go to my home folder, my downloads folder, and I created a folder called HTML. And there it is. Now, if I click on this index.html, I guess I could have left off the index. You'll notice there I did it twice. I could have left off the .html on when I gave the index name, but this will work. And there it is. There's the entire notebook. I can go to meal plan. Of course, there's nothing on this page. Previous. There's hamburger. Look at that. I've got my, just like it looks in Zim Wiki. And here's access to your attachments, including this image is down here too as an attachment. Go back to index. Maybe I want to look at salads. Pick the crab salad. Of course, we didn't put any content in there, so they're just blank. But that was quick and easy. You can quickly make an entire website with this of all your data if you wanted. And then you can have access to it via your web browser, or maybe you want to publish it for other people to read it. You can upload this to your web server. Okay, that's about it. Just wanted to give a quick introduction to Zim. It's a great tool, especially if you're looking for something that is going to be more private, stay on your system, not be up in someone's cloud. Or if you're okay with that, then you can also sync this data to a cloud service, such as those I mentioned, OneDrive, Dropbox, Google Drive, or you can sync it locally only via a tool called SyncThing, which again, we'll talk about that in a separate video. It's a separate tool. And yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this.